All right. Good evening, everyone. JP Koster, all the way from Cape Town. Just got back from abroad. My flight was unfortunately delayed, and for some other reason, my luggage also hasn't showed up in Cape Town. But nevertheless, great to be back in South Africa. And to all of you that are dialing in this evening, welcome on the call this evening. We're going to keep it sweet and short, and just go through some of the basics that I feel is really, really important. Obviously, and this evening we want to talk a little bit about duplication. And as you might know, this is one of the most important things in our business because our business is all about duplication. And I think for me, the first thing regarding that is obviously taking responsibility for not only for your team, but also for yourself, because it is a massive responsibility when you get involved in Mannatech to go out there and go and teach and train other people to be able to do the same. And you've got to realize that the first person that you obviously lead is yourself. So it's your responsibility to make that first circle work and obviously to take people to the next level. So this evening, we want to talk a little bit about duplication and how obviously we can increase that in our businesses, because our whole business is really about duplication. I mean, you know, that's one thing to sign a customer up. It's another thing to sign up an associate, but to actually help an associate sign other associates up and other customers, that's a whole nother ball game. So we want to discuss a few of those things obviously this evening. So the first point for me is obviously the mindset. What is your mindset regarding your Mannatech business? I think, you know, I've always said to people, your attitude determines your altitude. So for me, very often it's much more about your excitement about your Mannatech business, your excitement about the product, the opportunity, the company, the compensation plan, more so than just, you know, sharing a product with someone or sharing an opportunity with someone, because that's ultimately what's going to get people to step up and what's going to get people to sort of, you know, delve much deeper into the opportunity. And that's why your belief systems surrounding that is so important, because the more you believe in your opportunity, the more you believe in your product, you know, that's how very often people say to me, oh, you must help me convince this person. How am I going to convince this person to do this? And I think, you know, you don't really want to convince people. You want to share the message with people. And just through your sheer belief in what you do, that's how you want to inspire people to take action. So for me, self-development is obviously a big, big thing. To read books. I mean, of course, you want to read the Mannatech books, but also, you know, to delve deeper into it and read some books that can really inspire you to, you know, to step up, you know, in your Mannatech business, to step up not only in your Mannatech business, but just in your life in general. Then also realizing that failure is a big part of your success, you know, and, you know, the way that we succeed in this business is really by failing forward. You know, all of us, you know, many years ago, I was a brand new associate. I had to obviously fail my way forward to sign up my first few couple of associates, shared the product with a few people. Not everyone got on board, but really very often in our business, especially with new people, when they don't succeed, in the sense of when they speak to someone and someone doesn't get on board, or if they invite someone to a training and they don't show up, they sort of take it personally. They don't realize that, you know, that's such a big part of the success in this business and really in any business that you build. So for me, realizing that, you know, personal development is a massive thing, and your mindset around it, because, you know, very often we sort of, you know, you lose more people making it sound easy than what you do making it sound hard. Very often it's so easy to say to people, oh, you know, you're just going to get involved and chat to a couple of people about the product, or chat to a couple of people about the business. They're all going to get on board. And, you know, we've got to realize that we set the right expectations for people, that they realize, you know, this is a business that you're building. And, you know, by talking to, you know, just to 20 or 30 people, that you're not going to go presidential. You're going to have to talk to, you know, tens of people, if not hundreds of people, to ultimately find the right people that are, you know, seeing this the same way as you do, and that really want to build it to the next level. So the first thing for me is mindset. The second thing is doing the right thing, you know, not only from an accountability point of view, where you know, you're accountable not only to yourself, but really to your team, but you've got to be accountable. So do what you say you're going to do, you know, from an integrity point of view, be the leader that arrives first and leaves last, you know, and that goes the extra mile with the new people on their team, in the sense of, you know, making sure they've got all the right information, that you sit with them, that you make sure that they know about all the new, you know, information that they need to work through. And I think that's where very often we make the big mistake, you know, because if you think about the core activities in our business, it's one thing to sign someone up. It's a whole other thing to keep them in the business. And it's another thing to get them to a leadership level, and then obviously keep them at those leadership levels. And that's why you know, it's so important for you as a leader to make sure you're guiding people in the right direction, in the sense of making sure they're working through the correct tools. And then very often also to realize that it's not, you know, very often, like, you know, even if you want to, you can't make everyone successful. It's really that you got to work with the people that are stepping up to the next level. So, from another point of view, from a core activity point of view, it's very, very important that, you realize that when you sign someone up, you've got in the first 7 days, it's so important to get them plugged into either a webinar about the opportunity meeting, maybe onto a call where there's some testimonials that are being shared, getting them to an opportunity meeting in the sense of a live home meeting, or maybe an event that's taking place. Because what we've seen over the last 14, 15 years is that the people that make a success are normally the people that get a very, very fast start. So one of the things is getting them an experience on the product, getting them an experience in the sense of getting them to an event, a live event, as an example, or, more importantly, helping them sign up their first person. I've very often have said to leaders that you don't sign someone up unless you help them sign up their first person. And if all of us can just do that, and obviously teach and train people to do that, we are definitely, it's a step in the right direction. So very, very important is getting them to get that experience, that, whether it's a personal experience on the product, or maybe it's a opportunity experience that they have and they see the bigger vision of everything. But then also what's very, very important is that, what also you can do is, if you're building your business correctly, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that later, but it's really about taprooting your organization. We'll cover a little bit about that later, but very, very important. We work so hard in signing people up. So make sure within the first 7 to 10 days that you get that person as an exposure into the greater Mannatech team, whether it be a call that Dr. Nugent does. For instance, he was on the call last night. I unfortunately missed it. I was flying back from London, but so I had to do it through the recording. But as an example, if you know that Dr. Nugent is speaking next week, you've got like 4, 5, 6 days to contact all the people you've been speaking to over the last month or two about the product and promoting the event and saying to them, listen, you've got to be on this event tomorrow evening. One of our doctors is going to be sharing. You don't want to miss it. Do you mind if I send you through the information? Will you be able to make it? There's only limited space available. So very often, the leaders that really go to the next level, they know when to turn up the heat, and they know when to, promote the right events and really work hard on promoting those events. Then the next thing, which would be the third point, is just how do you increase your volume? Now, we all know it's about signing up customers, it's about signing up associates, but one of the big ways to increase your volume is by getting duplication, where you're having leaders in your team that are signing up customers, and also, in fact, that are signing up other associates, and getting these leaders to team 2, team 4, team 6, 8, and 10, but more importantly, also getting them to director, silver director, executive director, because no one qualifies as executive director unless there's a couple of people qualifying a director. So very, very important that you identify in your group who the 3 or 4 core leaders you got right now that you want to work with. And if you haven't got them yet, is for you to be signing up enough people so you can find 3 or 4 people that are stepping up, that are excited about it just like you are. But don't try and turn people that don't see the bigger vision into people that, that are now going to be your championship players. And I use this analogy at the last Super Regionals, that very often, if you think about at a tennis club, was the example that I used. You've got some people there that want to play for the Davis Cup. You've got some people that are there that just want to play league, and you've got some people that are just playing there socially, and then you've got some people that just show up every now and then, just hit a few balls with some friends. So, I mean, that's pretty much how our Mannatech business is. You're going to have some people that want to go all the way, and those are your Davis Cup players, or want to go to Wimbledon. Those are the people that have got a super big vision. They are super excited about the opportunity. They're willing to do whatever it takes, train hard, be on the court every day, take extra lessons with the coach, train on Saturdays if they need to, because they so badly want to make a success. And then, of course, you've got your league players, people that, play once, practice once a week, play on a Saturday. And of course, you've got your social players, people that are just there because they really enjoy it. And you've got people that every now and then show up. And it's very much, I can relate that back to our Mannatech business, in the sense that, you also do have people that are your league players, people that, they're going to be at most of the events, but they maybe don't want to go, they'd like to go presidential, it'd be great, but they don't want to, go all the way, or not willing to put in all the time and effort that maybe the player that wants to go to Wimbledon is going to put in, but they are happy to be around and they're enjoying it. And of course, your players that are there for the social, they're also going to enjoy it, but for them, it's a whole different thing. And I think very often in Mannatech, very often you do have people that are, it's great for them to be part of everything, but they don't realize the sacrifice it's going to take to be a player that wants to go presidential, or silver presidential, or platinum presidential, because that's a whole nother amount of effort and time that you're going to have to put in, and obviously a lot more disappointment. Think about, the player that's trained his whole life to go to Wimbledon, or play in the Roland Garros, or the Australian Open, or the US Open. I mean, these are people that have sacrificed their whole lives to be able to go to those, to play in that event, never mind win the event, just to qualify to go to the event. And it's very much like our Mannatech business, is that those players are going to have a lot of challenges along the way, whether it be injuries or disappointments or things that happen in their personal life, or maybe not having, maybe playing a bad game and losing a game that they shouldn't, that could have turned things completely around. So I think very often our Mannatech business is very similar to that, and that's why it's very, very important that that you have to sign up enough people to find your 3 or 4 players that want to go to Wimbledon, and those are the people you want to work with. And you can't expect to do that in the first year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. I mean, I can honestly say to you guys, it took me 6, 7, 8 years to find 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 really nice, good leaders that I could work with and help and work along with them to build their businesses. And that's what you obviously this evening, if you're on the call this evening because you would like to be a championship player, then that's what it's going to take. It might not happen in a year. I mean, there's very few people that take up tennis in the first year, and a year later they're playing, Davis Cup or playing at Wimbledon. It's a long process. A lot of these tennis players started when they're 4 or 5 years old, to hopefully be playing there in 12 or 15 years later. So for me, it's you got to up your volume by, number one, becoming the best distributor on your team, and teaching and training your associates how to go out there and go and get people on the product, share the testimonials with people, start doing their own meetings, plugging into the events, but really where those leaders can become independent of you. So I think for me, that's something that's really, really important, is to you up your volume, not just by signing people up as customers, because that's really adding volume every month. And if you want to go, presidential, bronze, silver, gold, or platinum, you're not going to be able to sign up customers to do that. You're literally going to have to sign up or talk to enough people about the business to find the people that actually want to build this as a career. They want a career change. They're looking for an opportunity. They're looking, to change their life. And those are the people that are really going to go out there and go and, find customers, go out there and go and teach and train other business builders to do the same thing. So that for me is the third point, is you want to up your volume through leadership. The fourth thing is, how do you make it rain in your business? Now, the first thing for me is that very often we confuse busy work with income producing activities. Now, busy work is like, for instance, this evening, this would be busy work. Or if you're reading your book of the month, or if you're attending an event, that's, busy work. Or if you're on the webinar on a Monday evening with Dr. Nugent, or the Monday night call, that's busy work. Those are things that you should be doing, but those aren't necessarily income producing activities. So income producing activities for me is what can you do that's actually going to allow you to sign up a customer or to sign up an associate, and then of course to teach and train that associate to do the same. That's income producing activities, and that can only be done through reaching out to people, sharing the business or the product with people, following up with people, doing 3-way calls, doing Zoom calls with that prospect, getting them signed up and getting them going right. That's the income producing activity, and that's the difficult stuff to do. It's easy to attend the webinar. It's easy to go to the training. What's hard to do is handling the disappointments along the way, just like the tennis player has to handle lots of disappointments along the way. But also, what you've got to do is obviously what's going to move the needle in your business. And that is new people. The more people you're getting to see the Mannatech presentation, the better for you and your business, and actually for your entire team, because you'll be setting a much better example. So for me, always think about single thing you do. Is this busy work or is this income producing activity? Income producing activity is really where it happens in your business. And this can only really happen if you're putting 7 to 10 hours a week into the business. I know a lot of us are doing this, part-time, but part-time is 7 to 10 hours of quality focused time in your business. It's not, I did 3 webinars, I did the Monday evening webinar. I'm doing the one with JP tonight. So that's already 2 hours I put into the business. When I'm saying 7 to 10 hours of income producing activities, I'm talking about where you are sharing the business with people, where people are seeing the Mannatech presentation, where you are prospecting people, where you're sending out your reach outs to people to chat to them about the product or the opportunity. That is the income producing activities. And all of us in this call, you can all do more of that, including myself. That is where that's where the rubber hits the road, is when you are doing income producing activities. And so always, every day, look at yourself, when you're scheduling your diary, you're looking through what things you got to do for the week. Always figure out, is it busy work or is it income producing activity? Is this actually going to grow my business? Because very often we confuse those two things, listening to audios and reading the books and taking the function. Those things are great. And you should never stop doing those things. But it's, those things don't matter unless you're going out there and talking to people. And you should be proud to share this product with people. You should be excited to share the opportunity with people. I mean, while I was away now, I mean, I was reading a bit on the news, what's happened, with the petrol price, obviously, and, it's like 24 rand a litre. The interest rates have obviously gone up, so things are getting more expensive. How are people out there going to fill that gap that they've got in their budget? Because everyone's going to have a gap. And yeah, we've got a great way for people for literally no risk, where they can go and create an international business working from home, where they can create an extra $500 or $1,000 a month, or way more than that if that's something that they want to do. The next thing is, for me, is that prospecting. Prospecting is the way that you are going to find the people that are open to have a look at what we're doing right now. And you have to be willing to go out there and pop the question to people. So, listen, would you be open to have a look at what we're doing? This is what we're busy with. We've just opened another 5 markets in Europe. We're looking at expanding our business. Do you know any people that are living in? Do you know any people living there? Oh, by the way, you're from this area. We're looking at growing our market there. Do you know any people that'd be interested there? Or we're looking at, you have to ask the question. And the more people we can obviously get to have a look at what we're doing, and the more people we can get to see the presentation, the more associates we're going to get on board, the more customers we're going to get on board, and obviously the more leaders we're going to get on board. So for me, very, very important that we are all on this call. If you're serious about your Mannatech business, you need to be talking to at least 15 to 20 people a month, which is really only 4 to 5 people a week, which is very, very doable. And that's something that every single person, whether you're full-time or part-time or doing this in your spare time, you can at least reach out to 4 or 5 people a week. It takes you not even 1 minute to reach out to a person. So you can literally build your business in 5 minutes if you are doing the income producing activity. If you actually write down the names, know exactly this week, these are the people I'm talking to. I'm talking about the product. I'm talking to this person about the business, and reaching out there and sharing with them a little bit about why you're excited, and that you want to pass some information onto them, or you want to get them to chat your upline, or whatever it may be. But where the rubber hits the road, and the basic mechanics of our business is how many people are seeing the Mannatech presentation on a weekly basis, not only from you, but also from your team, because that's what duplication is all about. It's not only what you do, but it's what you and your entire team can do together and collectively. I mean, that's the really big thing. Is it's not just, you're not on your own. We're obviously working in a team. So there are obviously great leaders and in your upline that can support with it. I'm sure a lot of them are doing these meetings. Just as an example, something I've been doing in the last while is to, with specific core leaders, is doing opportunity or doing home meetings on Zoom, where they can invite all the new people on, where we don't really share the opportunity in the sense of the PowerPoint, just literally really just chat a little bit about Mannatech, share a few testimonials, and really do it like a home meeting. But of course, that's never going to replace doing a live meeting. And at the end of the day, you got to get in front of people, because that's where the excitement's created. That's where people can actually, hear the stories, where they can, it can really go from their head into their heart. So that's the 4th point. The 5th point is, how do you water the taproot in your business? Now, some of you may have never heard of a taproot, but basically what a taproot means is what you want to create in your business is, let's assume that I sign up person A, and person A is over here. That's my first person I sign up, is to work with person A and to help him through his names list, sign up person B, and then working with person B till he can sign up the next person, which would be the next associate. I'm talking about associates, which would be person C, and working with person C until he signs up person D, and then working with person D till he signs up person E. And that's what we call building a taproot, is that you working from names list to names list to names list to names list. And if you're doing that correctly, your uni level, or at least your organizational volume should increase every single month because you've got new associates coming on board. And even if you just think about it like this, if you can over the next sort of 3 months, sign up, sign up 3 associates and help each of them sign up 3 associates over the next 3 months, that's 12 new associates. If each of them do 500 points, that's 6,000 points in volume in your business. But how you're going to do that is that you are going to have to sign up a couple of people, find someone that's excited and serious, work with that person until he signs up his first associate. Then you go and work directly with that associate, helping him with these meetings, helping him getting started right to sign up his first associate. Then you go to, obviously, which would be person B, and working with person B until he signs up person C, and then working with person C until he signs up person D. And that's called building a taproot. And where it really comes from is the fact that, when you're growing volume, is that you want to water the taproot. The taproot is the deepest point of, you think about like a big oak tree. The taproot would be the deepest point down. And what, many people have said is the fact that, a tree will never grow taller than when its roots are deep. So you want to make sure you're building a taproot really, really deep into your organization, because the more you water the taproot, the taller the tree is going to grow, the more volume it's going to produce, the more fruit it's going to produce. So all of us need to be making sure that we're helping our new associates in building a taproot. And as I mentioned earlier is that 80% of people that succeed in our business start fast. So, you've almost got a responsibility when you sign someone up within their first, month, is to help them sign up at least, 2, 3, 4 new associates, because then they're getting started right. And it's going to start creating momentum, because they've now got a responsibility for 4 new people that they've signed up into their team, which you obviously want to help now go to the next level. And of course, it gives you 3 or 4 people you can work with, potentially if that associate's not going to build, that might now want to build it. And you can obviously teach those 3 or 4 people to do the same thing. Then the 6th point is an events. Ladies and gentlemen, events is where it all happens in our organization. You grow your business by growing your people at events. The more people you're going to have at an opportunity meeting, the more people you're going to have at super regionals, the bigger your business is going to grow. So events give your business credibility, that people see that there's lots of other people involved. And as I mentioned earlier, just like Dr. Nugent was on the webinar on Monday evening, when you now know exactly that there's going to be a super regional in August, so you've got to already now be putting a team together of people. They're all going to be working to bring their first 2 or 3 people to the super regional event, because I know a lot of people have said to me that the last super regionals we've had was the most amazing event, and all the people that were there are so excited. So all of them wish they had more people there. So, it's really, really important is that you promote events, that you get people there, and also don't be the leader that says, I haven't got people that are going to be there, so I'm not going to go. If you're the leader, you're there, because if everyone had that attitude, we'd never have anyone at the function, because someone's always going to have someone that's not going to show. So very important that you grow your events. The next thing, I don't want to mention too many points, but I just want to sort of just chat to all of you through a couple of things that I wrote down. And that is, you've got to keep your business duplicatable, in the sense of, very often people are going to try to do new things, and someone might be doing social media marketing, or someone might be trying something new. And my question has always been not whether does it work, it's whether it duplicates, because you've got to realize that the way that you sign someone up, the way you bring them into the business, that's what they're going to be doing in their business as well. So we've got a system that's been working for 15 years for every single person that actually follows the system and follows it for long enough. So I want to encourage you to make sure that you don't try and reinvent the wheel. Just follow the system, but do more of what you're doing right now. And that is through those income producing activities. Remember also, you don't manage people, you manage things, you lead people and you manage things. So, very often it's not going to be in your hand, or in your hands at least, who are the people that are going to pitch up at the events, or going to do what they're going to say they're going to do, or are not going to get despondent. You can't control that, but what you can control is obviously your response to that. So that's why if you look at point 1, the mindset thing is so important, because of course, all of us have had disappointments. I've had so many disappointments in this business. At times you think, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but you do, because you just carry on for another day, because I've always believed that you always one recruit, one name, one event, one opportunity meeting, one webinar away from the next, leader whose life you can change dramatically and drastically. So just remember that you can't control You can't control the environment around you, but what you can control is obviously what's going on inside. And that is obviously your thinking about your business, your dream of why you want to do this and what motivates you to do this, because that should be enough. I mean, think about it again. Think about the tennis player that his dream has always been to be a, you know, go to Wimbledon, and you know all the years and the sacrifices and the injuries and the physios and the being on your own and the disappointments and losing this game and losing that game, and you know, but they still just carry on. They still just carry on. Why? Because they've got such a massive dream that, you know, that they, and very often a lot of these people don't even do it for the money. They do it for, because as a little boy they saw themselves achieving that, or as a little girl they saw themselves, you know, walking onto the court, you know, and that's what they play for. And I think very often we forget about that when we get into our Mannatech businesses, that we are really doing this because all of us in this call, we've got things that we'd like to achieve, things that we'd like to do, more than we'd like to do for our families. And that's why we need to step up, like that young boy, that young girl, step up and say, you know what, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. You know, if it's to be, it's up to me. You can do anything, if you really believe it, and if you're willing to put the time and effort into it. You know, and just in closing, just a few things I want to just leave all of you with is your number one obligation you have is for you to become successful, because you have to be the number one associate on your team, because that's the way that we can inspire other people, and that's the way you can inspire your team. And you know, the one way of looking at that is just to look at your own activity in the last week or the last month and say, if everyone in my business did what I did last month, would I be excited about my business, or would I be a little bit despondent? And if you feel you'd be a little bit despondent, or then great, at least you know that. Then you can go and change it and say, listen, well, how can I change it? Well, I spoke to last month, I only spoke to 5 people. You know what? My goal this month is going to be to speak to 10 people. I only had one person at the super regionals. You know what? Next super regional, I have 2 or 3 people there. Why? Because you are doubling up on your volume. So don't just remember, it's not always, you know, these massive changes that have to happen. It's sometimes just the little changes you make along the way that obviously, you know, makes a massive difference in the long run. So I just want to encourage all of you, you know, never ever forget, you know, when you're building your business, you know, if there's a few things I can just, you know, that I mentioned this evening that really stood out for me. The one thing is income producing activity is what I'm doing right now, income producing activity. The next thing that I definitely want to, you know, that stood out for me is the fact that, you know, what level are you playing at? Are you playing as a club player? Are you playing as a social player? Are you playing as a you know, once a month person that just pitches up to have a bit of fun? Or are you playing because you want to go to the world champs? You know, what level do you want to play at? Because all those levels are going to require a lot of different mindsets and activities and, you know, leadership in your organization. And the other thing is also is that you can't do this on your own. You've got to do this with the team. And who are the people who are going to buy into what we're doing here in South Africa, and how we're going to grow? How are we going to grow our business? How are we going to go out there and go and change a lot of people's lives? Because we've got a product that is life changing. It's changed so many people's lives. Doesn't matter where you go in the world, you'll meet people whose lives have been touched by Ambritize. You know, and I said to one of the leaders the other day, I said, you know, you never lose an associate, you never lose a leader, you just lose an associate. You know, because very often that happens. You know, things happen in life, and you've got to realize that those are just associates that left, because leaders never ever quit. Leaders carry on until the very, very end. You know, and yeah, at times they're going to be building faster than at other times because life happens, but they never ever forget why they started. Just like that little boy or girl never forgets why did they want to start in the first place. Why did they have that vision? You know, what was the feeling that they got around that? You know, and for us, we have got to realize we the coaches, we the people that got to inspire them and lead from the front, and you know, teach people to become a little bit better at, you know, certain aspects. Maybe it be a volley or a backhand, or, you know. So I'm talking about the tennis. I'm not sure if you watched the tennis, you know, over the weekend, but you know, it sort of relates really well to what we're doing. You know, and you know, for me in closing, just to really go and have fun, you know, and let's move from success to significance. You know, not that just it's great to make a success in your Mannatech business, but how can you make a significant impact in other people's lives by just you going out there and being the best version of yourself? You don't have to be anyone else. You can just be you, because everyone else is already taken. So just be you, and go out there and say to yourself, you know, how many people's lives can I change this week? Forget about your paycheck. Focus on how many people's lives can you change with the product, and how many people can you help with the opportunity we've got, and forget about the rest of the things. Those are the only two things that matter, is you going out there making a positive impact in people's lives, leaving them better than what you found them, and more importantly, having fun in doing this, because this is a business that needs to be fun to do. If you're not having fun doing this, you're not doing it right. Then you must shut your upline, because this is supposed to be fun, and we need to enjoy every moment of it, because you know what, we've bestowed this, on us, this amazing gift, so we've got a responsibility. I've got a responsibility. You, wherever you are, on this call this evening, this says almost 180 of you, wherever you are, you've got a responsibility. And think about it like that, is that, why were you chosen to be part of Mannatech? It must be for a reason. So let's go out there and go and take our God-given talents and abilities, and go out there and go and change as many people's lives as we can. And I'm not going to say go and change the world, because your world is the people, immediate people around you. Start there, and then and with the people close to you, and from there we can, if everyone just does that, those basics, then we can go out there and go and really make a big dent in the universe. So thank you very much for being on the call this evening. It's been great to chat to all of you. And I look forward to see you guys at the events. Chat to you soon. Thank you very much, everyone. And there's no QR code for this evening. It's obviously not an opportunity meeting. It was just a quick overview from me. So blessings to all of you. Thank you very much.